Testing mic check. I talk to dead people and I still have time to slay. Dead or alive, I keep it cute. And you're listening to the Peter Veth podcast. Hello. Oh my gosh, I did it. We're here. I don't know how to start this. This is so weird, but also exciting at the same time. Welcome to the Peter Veth podcast, our first official season 1, first episode of the season, and I'm excited. It's been in the works for so long. I'm saying in the works like I have like a production team. It's more in my thoughts. I needed to do this, and there's a reason why I needed to do this. And if I don't put this out, then it will never be out there. It had always been within me to do a podcast for the past 2 years, and I'm finally here. And the reason why it took me this long is because insecurity. I was afraid of people not getting into it. You know, it's like those natural feelings that we always get when we want to dive into something new. And the reason why for this podcast also, it's because I'm a storyteller. My parents, both of my parents, they're also storytellers. So since I was a kid, I'm that little gay boy that loves attention. So if I can have another platform to put myself on, then so be it. Let this be the podcast to share many stories with all of you. And the fact that I'm also here is because I'm always doing storytelling on my live. I'm always crying. I'm always laughing with the people who joins my live. And the fact that my audiences from across the board with my TikTok and Instagram have been asking, and I keep promising y'all that is going to happen, and I never really, did anything about it is because I was afraid. The vibe that we're going to get into the Peter Veth podcast, it's going to be really chill. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. It's going to be scary, spooky, heartfelt. I'm going to talk a lot about family dynamics, trauma, PTSD. I want to talk about these things is because I am a Cambodian American. I was born here in the US. I carry a lot of my parents' PTSD, and I want to bring that to highlight. I know it's been 50 years that happened with the Khmer Rouge regime, but still it's within me. Because of what my parents went through, I'm here because of them, and it made me who I am today. And those that don't know me, I am a psychic medium, which means I say this lightly. I say this more in a kitschy way, that I talk to dead people. It's just a way people to get in my world when I say this, because I'm pretty out there. I'm not like your typical psychic medium. At least I like to think that, okay? I think I'm fun. I think I'm crazy. I'm also a hip-hop dancer. I'm going to talk a lot about the industry and how I got into within my podcast. A lot of successful stories, a lot of hardship that I have gone through within my life. I've been blessed with so many opportunities because I was able to trust the voice that comes within. The voice that comes within is, one would say God, or the creator, or your gut instinct, your intuition. I was always that weird kid. Not weird, but I was always that kid that followed that voice. Those voices, actually. So with the podcast, I'm going to be talking about my life. I'm going to have special guests that's going to come in and join me to yap away because I love talking. And I already have a few guests lining up, which I'm really stoked. And as you can see right now, you're probably wondering how is this kid doing a podcast with this little microphone in my hand? I don't remember how I got this little mic. I don't remember who gave it to me. But I remember when they handed this to me, it took me like almost 2 years to break through into this microphone. And when I digged into my little pouch bag that was in the closet, I pulled out this little mic and I was like, oh, bitch, we're going to get lit. And this mic had brought me so many joy. So a lot of my podcast episodes, if you are watching this, it's also visual. And I will tell you that please bear with me. I don't have a budget to work on this podcast. I figured if I already have the resources with computer and phones and mics, I do have lavalier mics, I have lightings and things like that. So a lot of my episodes, the sounds and the video is gonna be inconsistent. So please forgive me on that end, only because I'm just coming about, and the more I get more support and more finance coming in from my content being monetized, then we'll move into a studio. I'll pay a team to help me out because everything that I do, I fucking do it all, guys. Like, it's ridiculous. And I'm proud of myself for always putting myself out there. That's the one thing that we're gonna get into all the time within the podcast. Like, I want to talk about things that moves you to be better, to become better, and to reflect on the hardship that we have all gone through. So I'm going to be talking a lot about everything and anything. And it's not just one phase, I'm just a bag of everything. A bag of dicks. I just wanted to say that. I just needed to say that. But I'm like a fucking confetti in a bag, I don't just talk to spirits. I'm fabulous, okay? Want to be talking about dance, makeup, fashion, like the ins and out of all these things, and I want to like spread love and light, within my Southeast Asian vote, and especially to my Cambodians out there that are listening and following me and supporting me. Like, you can do it all and live the American dream, especially if you are here in the US. Um, and it goes back to like our parents again. That's like something that I've been thinking about, like inviting my mom to have this conversation with her. I want to like sit down with my mom and see if she's comfortable enough to open up to talk about her life story, about my late father and what happened in Cambodia. I want to interview her about the good things and the bad things in Cambodia. And I'm going to like approach her easily, but my mom in general is a storyteller, and also my parents are psychically gifted. So this is a lineage thing. And again, see how like I'm just going off and on things, but this is what you're getting into with this podcast. Of course, within each episode I'm gonna dedicate like a theme we're gonna be talking about, but for the most part this is the intro, so we're just kicking it. We're just fucking around. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I'm gonna also be talking a lot about like haunted things. Something in my gut about this, and I hope that you can take this if you are driving, if you are driving right now and you're listening to this, or if you're at home cleaning or washing the dishes or anything like that and you're listening to this, right? How I follow these gut instincts, and I know that people had always asked me, like, how do you do it? It's this feeling that comes from deep within, and it had always been my, I wouldn't say passion. It's always been an interest of mine to do a podcast. And I know that these voices are also coming from the divine, like, do it, Peter. Like every night I would hear these voices, and within these episodes, I'm going to teach you how to get into these tools and connecting with your divine self and the higher power and spirits, your spirit guides, your spirit teachers, whatever you want to call them, God, creator. They've been speaking to me about this podcast, and I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't know, if I'm going to get like 10 listeners, 20 listeners, 10,000 listeners. It will get to whatever listeners it needed to get to, because it's going to also reach out to the ones that need to hear what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So I'm grateful regardless where this podcast is going to take me. And it's crazy that I'm saying this. In my gut feeling, I've said this for the past 2 weeks. I was talking to myself. I'm like already getting emotional. Like, let me relax. I'm being a bitch. This is just your first episode. Something in my gut feeling, like, this is it. I just want to focus with my mediumship career in this podcast. And the reason why I'm emotional is because I do so much. I have done so much in my life. I had always tried to figure out where I want to be. I wanted to be a professional dancer, and I got that professional side. I wanted to be a professional makeup artist. I got that whole beauty side of the professional world. I wanted to become a top fashion designer. I wanted to be the next John Galliano. I wanted to be the next Jason Wu, Alexander Wang. But right now, my passion is to heal the world, is to teach people about grieving and healing and family dynamics and ghosts and hauntings, spirituality and what it takes, motivational, aspirations, inspirations, all of those talks, anything and anything. I want to bring it all to life within this podcast. And I've never, ever felt something so fast and so I don't know how to say it. Maybe it is passion, And the reason why I'm not saying passion about it, it's because I feel like sometimes your passion comes within when you're already diving into the work. If that makes sense. My psychic mediumship is my passion, and I know that eventually my podcast will be my passion also. But right now, it hasn't gotten there. But there is a strong love, a strong fire. Maybe it is passion. What the fuck am I saying? See what I'm saying? I'm all over the place. But what I'm saying is that I've never been so sure in my life that these are the two things. I mean, I've always been sure that I've wanted to do these things, but for it to move that fast, that I wanted to do this, that I needed to do this, there is this spark in me. And that spark comes from the voice within. Those are your divine voices. And I know that people, and if you are someone that's listening to this right now and you've been thinking about getting into yoga or getting into business or content creation or professional career in makeup or anything, those voices that's been coming within you and it makes you feel some type of way, that's coming from God. I need to relax. Not me tearing up on my first episode. They're telling you that that's it. Do it. And let's just say you've gotten into it and it didn't work out. It set you to figure out your next step. Just because it didn't work out doesn't mean that you failed. So I encourage all of you that's watching this, that's listening to me right now, write it out. Write out the things, And speaking of writing things out, I was always that bitch. Let me tell you, I'm like all over the place, okay? But when I get shit done, I get it done. Okay, when I speak my mind into something, I speak it into existence, and then I do it, and it comes to fruition. But the one thing that hurts me a lot is that I don't ever organize. And what's crazy is that I started becoming more organized when I came out of the psychic closet about 7-8 years ago. Coming out of the psychic closet, I was going crazy, and I feel like I was still all over the place. I didn't want to dive into this work of connecting people with their departed loved ones. We'll get into that later in a different episode. But what got me to focus on my career as a psychic medium and to do it at a professional level is because I was able to write things down. All of my career that I did, with dance, makeup, and fashion and directing. I'm also a director with a dance company. I did it, but I was still kind of all over the place, if that makes sense. But something about connecting with your divine spiritual self and being organized by writing things out manifests it to become even more greater than you can imagine, if that makes sense. So I recommend you, if you have a dream, if you have a passion, if you have a goal in life that you want to achieve, write it out. That is the power of manifesting. You're putting it out there into the universe. Put it in your calendar, your wall. It's something to also remind yourself why it's so important to see these things visually, because it's a reminder, and it's also, it helps you have a checklist. Because my crazy ass, when I tell you I don't have a checklist, I always have people like checking up on me to do these things, you know, and that's the another thing that I'm manifesting. So God, if you are listening to this right now, please, when I have abundance like that, I'm going to hire an assistant, because ooh, I do so much that sometimes I'm still all over the place, even though I'm organized. But you want to connect the physical and the spiritual together, because two energy will create third energy, and it was going to become bigger than you can imagine. Ooh, ooh, yes. Goosebumps. If you're watching this right now, I'm doing my podcast in my living room. So the reason why I'm also saying it's going to be inconsistent, because there's going to be times where my neighbor is gonna pull out the fucking, what do you call those when they're mowing their grass? I don't know what they're called. The machine. It's gonna be loud as fuck. Okay? And I'm not that bitch where I'm just gonna open up the window and be like, hey, I'm trying to record a podcast over here. Pipe down. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not like that. So there's gonna be some banging, some kids riding the bikes across, cussing out each other, because, you know, I am in Lowell, Massachusetts. You know, it gets pretty hood here, pretty ghetto. No, but the area I live in, it's pretty chill, okay? And I can't wait to also dive about my hometown, because, you know, this is something that I want you guys to also take in. You can make it anywhere in life. When I was younger in my high school days, you know, my senior year, everyone talks about like, I want to get the fuck out of here, yada yada yada, you know, it's the people who I hang out with, or this place is just small town, you ain't going nowhere when you live here, because you're going to end up just living with your parents for the rest of your life. And what is wrong with living with your parents? The fuck? There's nothing wrong with living with your parents, especially, you know, cultures and backgrounds is a little different. You know, I know that the Cambodian culture, we want our parents to live with us. There's nothing wrong with just living with your parents, or having your parents living with you. There's a difference. But coming back to the subject of your hometown, I realized that I'm doing it. I'm so fucking grateful for my city and my community. They're the one. I'm like really great. I'm grateful for the community here, but also not really at the same time. You know, let's get into that. I'm going to be honest and truthful about that. I love Lowell. I would always see my first home here in Lowell, then my second somewhere in New York, and then my third somewhere in California, and then my fourth in Cambodia. You know what? Scratch that. My second's going to be in Cambodia. My third will be New York. My fourth will be California. Yep, I said it. 4 houses or 4 apartments, whatever it is. I've always said this ever since I was in high school. Till this day, I'm still saying it. You can make it anywhere. Even before, without the social media platform, when I was younger, I was doing it all. I was always traveling to California, to Puerto Rico, to Florida, to New York, just to pursue my dream. And later on, we've been gifted with the social media, with our gadgets and technology and laptops and tablets and all of that. You can make it anywhere when you put your heart and your soul and your mind into the things that you want to come to fruition. So fucking do it. Okay? You fucking do it. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Sometimes when people ask me like, how do I connect with my spirit, I like to have fun with them. I don't really think of anything complicated, because I feel like when people ask me how I connect with it, they automatically assume that I'm sitting there and meditating with them on a daily basis. I mean, meditation is really powerful, but at the same time, on a daily basis, like, my spirit people are just like my friends. Like, hey girl, what's up? I need to talk to you. I need you to help me out with something. I have these daily conversations with them, and I'm glad I don't do it in public, but there are times though where I do catch myself talking to spirits in public. Like, I'm like, okay, Peter, you looking like a fool right now. So getting connected with my spirit people, it's like me talking to my friend, like my bitch, my bitches. You know what I'm saying? They're the one who also been guiding me into the right places. And also, I'm not gonna also just give credits to my spirit people and my community and things like that. I want to also get into later on in my podcast. I want to talk about like acknowledging how far you have come, how much you have gone through to get there. You know, I know that we always say, oh, give thanks to God and to the people who have helped you and stuff. But what about you? What about the things that you do? And I'm only saying this too because I've learned, I have noticed this thing about me, and this is why for my birthday I had like a shoot with like this all black outfit and dark makeup and stuff, because I'm coming into my divine masculinity phase this year, and not dismissing that God didn't do anything, because God did, the universe did, the creator did, helped me out a lot, but most of it comes from you. I said this all the time from the past for many years of saying like, if you want the universe to work with you, you got to work with the universe first. You got to put in the work first before they give back to you. So to me, and then I came across Mel Robbins' podcast a couple of days ago where she talked about like to thank yourself for the things that you have gone through and what you have done. You've gotten yourself that far. That's powerful. We don't talk about that often. Yep, this is me. This is my first podcast. Already just diving head in. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you are listening and watching this, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so fucking much for supporting my work. Please follow me on YouTube at the Peter Veth Podcast. Please follow me on Spotify at the Peter Veth Podcast, and then my social media on my Instagram. And please go check me out on my website if you want to book private readings and all of that. I do offer readings online, private. I do parties and all that good stuff. I do in-person reading. You can look more. You can look up more of my information at www.peterveth.com. And another thing too, I had also gotten into Patreon. I've never done it. I've always been shy from doing Patreon, so I'm gonna also do exclusive content just for Patreon, so that way I can get people to support me financially, in that sense. So if you have love and want to continue to support me in that world of Patreon, please go ahead and check me out. It's at the same thing at the Peter Veth Podcast. I want to thank every one of you that's been asking about my podcast. Every time I go on live, this is it. Whether it's 10 views, 10 listeners, 20 listeners, I don't care. I'm here and I'm getting it, trying to get it monetized. It's about damn time. So thank you for that, and I love y'all. This is already fun. I cannot wait. All right, thank you. I love you. Bye.